I Cannot Live With You by Emily Dickinson, 1830 to 1886. I cannot live with you. It would be life, and life is over there, behind the shelf. The sexton keeps the key to putting up our life, his porcelain, like a cup. Discarded of the housewife, quaint or broke, a newer Sevres pleases, old ones crack. I could not die with you, for one must wait to shut the other's gaze down. You could not. And I could stand by and see you freeze, without my right of frost, death's privilege. Nor could I rise with you, because your face would put out Jesus's, that new grace. Glow plain and foreign on my homesick eye, except that you than me he shone closer by. They'd judge us. How? For you served heaven, you know, or sought to. I could not. Because you saturated sight, I had no more eyes for sordid excellence as paradise. And were you lost, I would be, though my name rang loudest on the heavenly fame. And were you saved, and I condemned to be where you were not, that self were hell to me. So we must meet apart, you there, I here, with just the door ajar that oceans are, and prayer, and that white sustenance, despair. Okay, this poem is by Emily Dickinson. Let's see, she is one of the most famous 19th century American authors. Although in her lifetime she wasn't known at all. In fact, she was a recluse and very often spent days in her bedroom and would not even answer her bedroom door. She spent much of her life just shut away completely. So what's this about? Well, this is about a marriage proposal. And this poem explains why she is refusing the marriage proposal. Because in these days, live with you. In these days, you didn't go and live with your girlfriend or your boyfriend. You had to get married before you did that. So she's explaining the reasons why not. I think another thing that I see very clearly from this is she has a very negative opinion about herself. She thinks that she is less deserving than anyone else, that she is inferior to other people, and happiness is not something that she actually deserves. So let's look at these first two lines. I cannot live with you. It would be life. So here she's talking to the person who's proposed to her. And she says that living with you would be life. And I think in this she's saying, or she's showing that she doesn't think that she deserves life. Yeah? it would be life herself. And I think clearly from this, I think she loves this person, but she hates herself so much that this is something that is not for her. She doesn't believe she has the right to access to life. And life is over there behind the shelf. So it's something over there, something that is inaccessible for her. The sexton keeps the key to putting up our life, his porcelain like a cup. Okay, so the sexton is the person who was in charge of a church. Very often, the grave digger. Yeah, this was the person who dug graves. And I think in this case, in this time, people were obsessed about being buried alive. And I think in this, she's suggesting that the sexton would be the person who could save her from life. And I think save her from death being walled up. And I think here the sexton probably represents God. Yeah? And then putting up our life, his porcelain, like a cup. So I think this is saying she doesn't feel in control of her own life, that she needs to do what is set out for her in life. And she doesn't believe that God has decided that happiness is or real life is something that is her right. And here we have this image of the sexton perhaps putting a cup or a piece of porcelain on his shelf and looking at it, that gives him pleasure to look at and own. But I think in this she's saying that she doesn't own her own life, that she's not actually in charge. Discarded of the housewife, quaint or broke, a newer Sevres pleases, old ones crack. So Sevres is a place in France, but this is a very well-known and high-quality porcelain factory. And I think this is referring to the cup on the shelf. And now the person in charge of life is the housewife. And the housewife discards, throws away a cup or a piece of porcelain because it's quaint, it's old-fashioned, or it's broken. Yeah, it's no longer any good to her. I think she believes that she will become old-fashioned or broken or cracked, and the relationship will end. So she feels that she will be discarded. A newer Sevres, a new piece of porcelain, a new cup on the shelf pleases. Old ones crack. So you wouldn't want to keep a cracked old cup, but you'd prefer a newer Sevres cup. So it's saying that she feels that the relationship will end up being broken because she will be replaced by someone new. I could not die with you, for one must wait to shut the other's gaze down. You could not. So again, not only could she not live with them, but she couldn't die with them as well. And getting married is clear that you will love each other until death. And she says that she couldn't die with this person because one must wait to shut the other's gaze down. So when one of them dies, then the other person has to wait and spend what is left of their life waiting for their own death. And this is something that she couldn't bear. Yeah. I think she also says that this person would, I think once she died, then this person would probably forget her, that he would, or that they would not be able to wait for her. And she couldn't bear a situation like this. And could I stand by and see you freeze without my right of frost, death's privilege? So here I think she's continuing with the same idea as in the last stanza. Could I just stand by and watch you freeze, watch you die? Yeah, because if I had to watch you die, I would want to die myself, but life doesn't work like that. And suicide would be a sin, so I would lose the privilege of death, of wanting to die. And this is a situation that I could not bear. Yeah, I couldn't stand by, just stand and wait for my time. If I saw you die, I would want to die myself. And this to me is some of the clearest evidence of how she really does love this person. But I think the major problem is she just doesn't feel worthy. Nor could I rise with you, because your face would put out Jesus's, that new grace. So here one of the ideas of the Christian religion is after death, then we rise again from the dead, the final resurrection. But if she married him and this person and spent their life with them, she would only be able to think about this person, and in this in the final resurrection, this person's face would be more important to her than Jesus, and that would be terrible. That would be a sin. That would be an insult to God. Yeah, and she gives us another reason that this person would be more important to her than God and Jesus, and that she wouldn't be resurrected because God was not the primary idea on her mind. Glow pain and foreign on my homesick eye, except that you than he shone closer by. So she's now still referring to the resurrection, and I think this would grow plain. Her faith in God would grow plain. Yeah, that she would only want to see and be with this person if she married him, and that Jesus and religion and God on the resurrection would be foreign to her, and that her eye would be homesick just for this person upon the resurrection. Except that you than he shone closer by, so that for me you would be more important than he, than Jesus, than God. And she would miss the old earth where she was with this person, and she wouldn't be able to give her the proper devotion to God. They judge us. How? For you served heaven. You know, or sought to. I could not. So here she's saying that, well, people or God would judge her. yeah, and that you, the person that wants her to marry wants to marry her, did what you could, or you tried to follow heaven. But this would be something I couldn't do if I were with you, because you would be more important than my religion, and you would be everything for me. And because you saturated sight, and I had no more eyes for sordid excellence as paradise. So you saturated my sight. You were the only thing that I could look at, that I could concentrate on. And paradise, heaven, would be a disgusting excellence, something that was excellent, but it was of no importance to her, because she would be longing to be with her love, yeah, and she wouldn't have eyes for the paradise that she's living in after death. She wouldn't have be able to look or think about anything else, and therefore she's not worthy of somebody who would become more important to her than God. She would have no desire to serve in heaven, because she would only be thinking of him. And were you lost, I would be, though my name rang loudest on the heavenly fame. Okay, so this, I think, is saying that when we die on the resurrection, you would go to heaven and I would go to hell, even if my name was reputed to be the best. I'd done the best things, that my fame in heaven was really good, because I just couldn't concentrate on anything else. And that if this person died, if this person was lost, she would be lost as well. Everything would be lost to her. And even if heaven was calling her name, she would be unable to respond. So that they would never be able to help each other. And you, saved, and I condemned to be where you were not, thyself, that self, were heaven to me. So when you die, if you died and were saved and went to heaven, I would be condemned to the place that you didn't go, that I would go to hell. For me, not being where you were would be absolute hell to me. So being any place that was not with you would be hell. And this is something, again, I could not stand. So we must meet apart. You there, I here. So we can't marry. We must be apart. We must live in different places. We must live separate lives. From life to death to the final resurrection. But we must be apart. You over there, I here. With just the door ajar that oceans are, and prayer. So maybe there's a door that's just ajar, it's a little bit open, and even though there is a huge amount of space and distance, oceans between them, that she has to be separated from him. And I think she needs to pray to keep them separated, because this is something that would not be good. And that white sustenance, despair. And then This is almost a masochistic idea that she is sustained by despair, and she calls despair white sustenance. This despair that she doesn't have the right to life, the right to good things, and the only thing that she can live with is despair. So I think this poem is very sad, and it's very sad that she doesn't feel she has the right to try to be happy with this person. So enough. If you enjoyed the video, give it a rating, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you soon. Bye for now. I Cannot Live With You by Emily Dickinson.